Hello everyone, my name is Cynthia Gomes and I'm a counseling psychologist and a family therapist. In today's video, I will be speaking about how the COVID-19 pandemic is affecting the mental health of adolescents. I will be emphasizing on the factors that lead to psychological buildup and cause distress in adolescents. I will also enumerate the signs to recognize psychological distress in them as well as suggest few ways to cope with the same. So let's begin with this video.
Who is an adolescent? An adolescent is an individual in his or her transitionary phase of physiological and psychological development from a child to an adult. Although adolescence is commonly associated with teenage, it usually exceeds the teens as the teenager continues to develop both physically and psychologically well beyond the early 20s. During this phase of adolescence, the body and the mind undergoes rapid changes that in itself can cause anticipation and anxiety in the adolescent. Coupled with the present stressful situation caused due to the global pandemic, it can lead to severe effect on both the physical and psychological well-being of the adolescent. The complete lockdown in India that was imposed to restrict physical interactions among people to contain the novel coronavirus has greatly impacted our normal way of living. Hailing the age of a new normal. This new normal has paved way for drastic alterations in the lifestyle of all individuals. It is perhaps the end of the world that we know and the beginning of a time completely strange and unfamiliar. While some of us have been able to adapt to this change easily, others are facing difficulties in doing so. Why are adolescents vulnerable to mental health problems, especially during this time? Adolescence is a period of confusion as the individual during this transitionary phase is still trying to understand what is normal and what is not in terms of his or her body. For adolescents who are already experiencing rapid changes in their body, the sudden changes in the familiar academic, social and home environment further complicates their ability to adjust and adapt, as they are now burdened to understand not just their body but also their physical environment. There is anxiety both for the changes occurring in the body as well as for the life-threatening situation caused due to the global health crisis and the new normal imposed to cope with the COVID-19 threat. The main sources of psychological distress in adolescence during the pandemic can be divided into the following categories: online classes and academic stress, negligible social interactions with peers, uncertainty about future, and family stress. In the course of this video, I will be speaking in detail about all these sources individually. Online classes and academic stress. Schools and academics form a major part of the lives of most adolescents. With the lockdown and schools and universities being shut down for more than 4 months now, there has been a drastic shift in the mode of education from regular classroom settings to online classes. This has been proved as a source of distress for adolescents because not everyone has the infrastructure and technology to participate in online classes. Students find it difficult to adapt to online classes and are not able to retain information as effectively as compared to regular classes, rendering the entire process as futile. For students in universities, it is a constant worry about how the exams will be conducted and how things are going to work out. With exams being postponed in certain universities, the anxiety and stress only increases. Students are also worried about their entrance exams and how they will get admission in the desired course and college. Many students are also unable to meet the set deadlines because of academic overload and even their personal problems. Negligible social interaction with peers. Most adolescents thrive on social interaction. With the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic, physical human interaction has reduced greatly, resulting in interaction with others either through online means or no interaction at all. During adolescence, socialization is essential as it helps them to develop their self-image and identity, their understanding of the society and its norms, and how to function in the real world. Adolescents who are unable to form healthy relationships during this phase of life find it difficult to do so throughout their adult life. Moreover, social interaction with peers helps them to broaden their thinking capacities owing to the exchange of ideas and aids the adolescent to become a well-adjusted adult in the future. Interaction that is limited to the family disables the adolescent to survive in the world as an adult. More so, this decreased interaction has also resulted in increased dependency on social media, either for interaction or entertainment purposes, which is directly linked to psychological issues like depression, anxiety, distress, lower self-esteem, and so on. Apart from this, adolescents tend to be more attached to their peer groups than to their families, and being forced to be away from them in itself affects the mood of the adolescent. Uncertainty about future. The most evident reason for distress in individuals from all age groups during the ongoing pandemic is the uncertainty about the future that the COVID-19 pandemic has brought with itself. All individuals are living in a constant state of fear and uncertainty about their future. This is aggravated in the lives of adolescents who are already worried about their rapidly changing bodies, their academics and career, as they are required to take major decisions pertaining to their choice of profession. Coupled with the constant worry about their physical health and the health of their loved ones, and what the future post-COVID-19 will be like, has become a major source of distress and psychological build-up in the adolescents. Family stress. Another major source of stress in adolescence is that of family stress. Family stress is defined as disturbance in the steady state of the family system. These disturbances can emerge due to both internal and external factors. During this lockdown and the pandemic, the major sources of family stress has been the following: members of the family working from home, unemployment of family members, general moodiness and irritability, sickness or death in the family, and so on. These factors affect all family members and often lead to emotional and psychological buildup that older members of the family usually take out on younger members. Moreover, adolescents are more sensitive to the feelings of others than children, and therefore get affected by imbalances in the emotional state of family members very easily. Now, talking about how to determine whether adolescents are suffering from psychological distress. Most adolescents display the following signs if they are going through psychological distress: increased irritability and moodiness, changes in sleeping patterns, either sleeping too much or too less than normal, frequent complaints of headache and stomach ache. These physical ailments that have no apparent cause are signs of bodily manifestations of stress and anxiety. Increased fatigue and lack of interest in activities. Psychological distress is emotionally draining that leads to the individual feeling lethargic and low. Changes in food habits, either eating too much or too less than normal. It is also important to keep a check on the food that is being consumed, meaning individuals who tend to eat a lot of sugary food or food high on fat are more likely to be going through psychological distress. Decreased concentration levels. Being in psychological distress is harmful for all individuals, and more so for adolescents if left unaided. It can lead to brain dysfunction, decline in cognitive abilities, and can lead to development of chronic disorders, both of psychological and physiological nature. One can effectively cope with psychological distress in the following ways. Number 1. Challenging negative thought processes. It is evident that most psychological problems emerge from negative thought processes that we associate with events or objects. We can challenge these negative thought processes by first recognizing these negative thoughts that often pop up automatically in the brain and cause unpleasant feelings. These negative thoughts usually pertain to a what if thinking, that is, worrying about things that could go wrong. Worrying about things that might go wrong in the future can also stop you from making efforts to make it right in the present. These thoughts can be monitored using a journal or diary, which can be maintained by the individual. This highlights the patterns of thinking, which can then make it easier for the individual to challenge any thinking errors. Another way to challenge negative thoughts is through what I can control versus what I can't control technique, which involves self-introspection on situations or events and designating them as something that can be controlled and as things that can't be controlled. This helps to gain perspective on negative thoughts that often rise due to the fear of losing control over situations that we never had control over. Second, talking it out. Sharing your feelings, worries, and problems help in reducing them significantly. Talking about your stresses and anxieties can help you move on from problems more efficiently and in a healthy way. Vocalizing your emotions releases them from the body and the mind, evoking an immediate rush of relief that relaxes muscles and eases mental strain. Inculcating feelings of self-worth. Practicing relaxation techniques. This could be both yoga, exercise, or any other activity that can help you to relax. This is extremely beneficial to maintain composure in stressful situations. The last point, effective time management. Lockdown and studying from home usually decreases our productivity. Therefore, having a strict schedule for academics can help individuals to effectively allot time for both studies and leisure activities. Perhaps the most important way to cope with psychological distress is to seek professional help. It is essential to seek professional help from mental health experts when situations seem out of control, especially when they begin affecting the relationships, work, and the sense of well-being in the individual. Psychological distress can lead to severe damage to an individual's health and well-being. Just as someone seeks medical care for illnesses, it is important that one seeks out a mental health professional if they feel they are suffering from psychological distress. A mental health professional will help you not only to cope up with your problems, but will also enable you to deal with your future problems effectively. So that's all, dear friends. Keep spreading positivity in your family and friend circle. I pray and hope that you all keep safe and healthy. God bless you all.